Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Metaworld News. This is a program where we bring you highlights of information, etc., from social virtual worlds and a little bit about virtual reality tech, haptic devices. There's things that we attach to ourselves or our computers, if they're not already attached to each other, that is, and
Mhm.
to help us engage with the virtual 3D spaces that we're talking about. Yeah, that was a handful, wasn't it? And I'm pleased to announce that today we are bringing you the headlines for the week ending the 7th of, you name it, July already.
There. Yep.
And the year is 2019, although I normally say that's best left unsaid, but since I got it right, that doesn't really matter this week, does it?
Nope.
My name is Mal Burns. I'm your newscaster, as it were, and I'm joined next to me here. Also commenting from time to time is James Atloud, who's he's pressing all those buttons on the desk there, you see. They're switching camera positions
All
and
right.
stuff, and then he's got these fancy broadcast monitors to his left, and it's all very high tech. So he's doing all that while I'm blabbering. So, welcome, James.
Oh, thanks, Mel.
Thanks
I
for
feel like I'm so much in control with all this power.
I
My
know, double
goodness.
monitor and a really flashy little pad with lots of buttons on it,
Right,
and
right.
who knows what is showing up out of our eyesight. Anyway, yes. Anyway, as I said, I am Mal Burns. That's Mal, and then Burns is the second name. But, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you actually have to squash the name into one. So you go to twitter.com/malburns, MALBURNS. And that's my principal feed for all sorts, really. But I do have another feed for just social virtual worlds, and that you'll find at twitter.com slash metaworld news. If you're interested in arts, destinations, and machinima and stuff, over in Yodi's Second Life platform, by the way, I even have another feed for that, which is twitter.com slash Malburns, one word, with a capital M, by the way, then underscore or space, and then writer with a capital W, which is back in the day. The Second Life platform didn't allow you to use your real surname, so you had to squash it into a forename
Mm.
and then invent a profession sort of thing for your surname. So actually, it's kind of odd. I've got quite a few alts in Second Life. There's my spare workhorse is called Malburn's Footman. I think there's a Malburn's Guru. there's got a lot of Malburn's something or other surnames. They are, of course, all me, and I'm never in Second Life these days, so it doesn't really matter. But the Twitter feed does actually include some nice locations to try out and stuff if you like doing that sort of
I
stuff
think
over
my
there.
f- my first Second Life surname is Snickerdoodle, if I recall correctly.
Okay, well, in response to that, Marlboro and Snickers. That's meant to be that's the little bit that's in text. It's like a play where the instructions come up. The instructions just say Marlboro and Snickers.
Snickers.
So
Right.
I will snicker. I will snicker. I'll snigger too. So you can have a snicker and a snigger. But there you go.
Perfect.
What's the name of the candy bar? Oh, that's
Snickers, I think. In the
oh,
United
that's
States,
Snickers.
it's Snickers.
Yes, yeah, I think we have Snickers too.
Okay.
So it rhymes with female underwear. I know that. Right,
Right,
okay.
right.
Let's get on with the show here. I'm getting distracted, aren't I?
Yeah,
Okay. James is also displaying my desktop, believe it or not, while I'm reading out my links. So I'm going to head straight to the first one, and you will no doubt see that on screen when I mention it. Not highly exciting, but nevertheless, it's there. It's actually a post at a site called it's blogs.scientificamerican.com.
oh.
Um, you basically go to Scientific American and then look it up from there. It's a section called Observations. And the title of the article, as you can probably see, is Virtuality might be the next big thing for mental health. Technology holds vast potential for insights into the workings of human brains, plural. Yeah,
Hmm.
not the human brain, but human brains. Yeah, they're going to stick all our brains together and examine them as a collective entity. And then we'll have the singularity. And then is it a Robert Heinlein or Arthur C. Clarke novel where we all merge? It's Robert Heinlein, isn't it? The one where we all merge.
Oh,
We
I don't
become
know.
a collective entity and we go floating up into the sky and then we
I
warp
cert
into us.
I associate the singularity with Kurzweil. So.
Yeah, no, this isn't a singularity. This was, I know it was the evolution. There was a short period of evolution of humans where we're starting to get telepathy and things like that.
Ah, okay.
And then time had to pass. The old fogies who are just Homo normals or
Mm.
whatever we're called
Mm-hmm.
got used to it. And then when the last of us had died out, then the new wave suddenly sort of all their minds merged into one kind of
Sure.
thing.
Yep.
And eventually every human being on the planet was merged into a collective consciousness, so it decided it didn't need the bodies anymore, went floating off as a single entity into space, where I forget what happened next. Maybe it became a sun or something. So it became a spatial, inhabited, intelligent being
It sounds like
comprised
my
of
retirement
all of
plan.
us. Yeah, it sounds a bit like that. I wonder if it's a bit like colonies of ants and things, where
Mm-hmm.
conceptually the idea was the race had evolved so that it operated as one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
that is progress or not, I'm not quite sure. If it
Mm.
is progress, then the ants are ahead of us by the look of it. Anyway, back to reality.
Mental
We
health.
have a nice
Right.
picture. We have yeah, well, unreality or virtual reality is what I mean. Yeah, anyway, so there we have the obligatory photo of somebody wearing a contraption, and such is the angle. I can't tell which contraption it is, but who cares? He's got a nice, sexy, contemporary beard to match it, and yeah, yes, it's an icon. It's from Getty Images, so there you are. Anyway, the article is experts used to worry virtuality would damage our brains. However, these days it seems VR is more likely to help our grey matter. And there's a whole new wave of psychological research informing them all about it. And as you can see, there's a fair bit to read there. It's not the most, well, it is a pretty long article. There you are. I'm sure you didn't read it while I was scrolling, unless you're a speed reader. And really would have to be a speed reader. But anyway, go to find that at blogs.scientificamerican or one word.com. And yeah, that's a slightly different site from normal for us. Right. Uh, closing that. Okay, virtual reality is also helping scientists discover new drugs. Yes,
Mm.
indeed. I don't know if you go back to those of Tim Leary and things. Tim Leary did a double turn. When was it in the 70s? I think he decided that virtual reality was going to be the new drug, and he didn't need LSD anymore. Um, he might have had a point,
Yeah.
but now they're taking virtual reality for granted to actually go in there and develop new drugs. It sounds a bit like a full circle, doesn't it? But anyway, the same technology that's revolutionizing video games is being used to develop new drugs and fight some of the world's deadliest diseases. The logo there says CNN Business. The way to get to it is you need to go to edition.cnn.com. And it's the link itself is in the business section. As I say, you can go to the Malburn's feed on Twitter and just click away on the link to get straight to the page. Um, uh, this is actually one of these sites where before we came on air, I actually paused it, but
From cars to skyscrapers, virtual reality is being used at the cutting edge of design. But what about pharmaceuticals?
It takes about 10 to 12 years to take a drug from a concept to the market. It's often described as trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Hmm.
Researching new drugs is often a long and expensive undertaking.
Some of the latest figures are a cost of about 2 billion to get a drug to market, but that's not because that drug took 2 billion to get. It's because of all the other costs you've spent to find that one.
So companies are constantly looking for new ways to accelerate the process. C4X Discovery in Manchester, England, sees virtual reality as the key. I could have a proper look inside there.
The reason why virtual reality could be very important for us more than others is that the data set we get from our NMR technology, where we get this conformational, this ensemble of shapes for each molecule, is so much more data rich that you can't just look at it easily on a 2D or even a single 3D display.
That 4D.
right, okay.
Hmm.
Well, I think you get the idea. I'm not going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
give you all 2.5 minutes because CNN will probably start moaning that I've breached their copyright or something. Anyway, you'll find this article at edition.cnn.com. When you get there, that video will also play. But as you can see, there's a little bit of explanatory stuff underneath it with a little bit more too. And yeah, there you go. So from drugs to virtual reality and then back to drugs again. It's a circular world, isn't it?
Mm.
They say we go in cycles. That's the living proof, I think. Moving on, moving on. The next one here is our good old friends at
Oh
Engadgets. This
my.
is www.engadget.com. Engadget, that is. Yes, I heard James say, "Oh my." Quick on the ball there. Well, we have had considerably more "oh my" worthy items come up. Yes, this is not a social virtual world. Although something actually interesting coming up in a few minutes. Actually, it may have been. Was it on? No, I think it was on last week's show. We had an article about the forget bringing smell to virtuality. They were going to bring taste, weren't they?
Ah, yeah.
So I mean, if we can get, we've already got haptic controls and stuff. So I mean, there's nothing to say that with the right kit, I can log into the studio here and there's a nice little bed on the stage here and have some other avatar with some other operator give me a massage that I would actually feel.
Yeah.
We have not quite at that stage yet, and it would depend on all parties having the right kits, of course. But yeah, this, however, has nothing to do with virtual worlds per se, except to provide an ambient visual, I guess, while you actually get a real life massage. Automated massage chairs and pumped in fragrances will help you chill for a bit. But I think the idea is that while you're in the headset getting nice smells and nice pictures, a real world masseur is doing whatever um, that particular masseur is prone to doing. It's quite,
Well said.
I'm not going to go any further. There are obviously there are different kinds of masseurs who do different kinds of massages. So presumably, the VR will coincide with whatever they're doing to you. Right. Escapes Immersion Relaxation Centre, supposedly the first of its kind, will offer 10 different VR environments for you to relax in, including a sauna, a koi pond, an oceanside resort, and a ski cabin with a crackling fireplace.
Hmm.
So it rather sounds like you're just going to get a normal massage, but your virtual chair, as it were, will be showing you a different um, scene. Anyway, VR porn it is not. It is just straightforward VR accompaniment to a
Yep.
massage parlour by the look of it. So I think we'll close that. It's not particularly exciting, really, is it? All right. Oh, Cambridge researchers here at Cambridge University in the UK say that VR can detect the symptoms of Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
Um, I hope this isn't going to come too late for. I keep wondering. I'm getting so. I did read on Facebook, oddly enough, in the read that two rather prominent people in virtual worlds, in fact, had some bad news in that department this week. Um, I don't think VR actually helped them detect it there. Um, they found that virtual reality technology can help identify Alzheimer's symptoms with more precision than the gold standard cognitive testing. Um, all this has something to do with an entori. Yeah, why not read this if you're interested? You'll find this link at virtual reality dash newsnet. That's virtual reality, two words squashed into one, and then dash, and then news.net. And if this will obviously tell you more about ent- entorhinal cortexes, amongst other things. I'm not going there, but you get the idea. Good news, good news.
Yeah.
Anything in virtuality or anywhere else, in fact, that can help detect the onset of such things. Very good news. Right. Also in Britain here, we have a town on the south coast called Bristol. Yes,
Hmm.
it's quite a. It's sort of. Some idiots once said it was Britain's Silicon Valley. I mean, talking nonsense really, but there are actually quite a lot of tech companies down there, and there are probably more down there than the ones that have now moved to London, which is big
There's a
centres in London
is there a
now.
BBC studio
Um,
there?
BBC have studios everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, there isn't a regional one. I mean, there'll be probably a local news service for the BBC
Okay.
Bristol.
Okay.
Um, it's not like Cardiff where they have a big regional centre and stuff, but
Okay.
they're bound to have a local radio centre and maybe
I was
local.
thinking Doctor Who. You know.
Oh, oh, well, actually, yeah, Doctor. Well, oh no, Torchwood is set in Cardiff.
Okay. Yep.
That's right. Yeah, Doctor Who is set wherever he lands, I think.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, Bristol's very near London here. It's considered by many to be the quickest way to the seaside from London. You just go south till you hit Bristol. Oh, no, no, what am I talking about? Right, you've got me confused, James.
Sorry.
Pull me out of my rabbit hole. Um,
Put you in the rabbit hole.
I have been talking about Bristol as if it was Brighton. So everything I just said is referring to Brighton, not Bristol. But Brighton is a bit of a tech hub. It's on the south coast. You get a train from London straight south. You end up at Brighton, but you can't go any further because it's sea. But there is no sound there. It's stones and everything else. And more importantly, it is not Bristol. So let's get back to Bristol.
Okay.
Bristol's westward, and that is actually quite a big centre. Again, I doubt BBC will have offices there for sure, but I don't think it's a regional centre. It's probably Bristol. Actually, there's a big bridge at Bristol, and you're more or less on the border of Wales.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
the nearest BBC centre is probably Cardiff in Wales, actually. Anyway, next week, in other words, this coming week in Bristol, UK, that we have the Southwest Creative Technology Network who are having this immersion showcase, bringing together 8 tech pioneers to display the future of immersive technology. Of the 8 prototypes, 2 will use virtual reality, while another will use augmented reality. And yeah, first comes some triangular pixels, and yeah, well, stuff. If you're anywhere near Bristol and want to see some cutting edge stuff, that might be a good place to go and have a look. It's certainly not a major conference or anything like that, but good exhibition of stuff that's going on, really, especially from creators working in the southwest region of the UK. Right, read more about that at VR Focus, all one word, VR, the letters, and then FOCUS.com. And yep, so this week was going to be quite quick, didn't I? Now, here we have another article at VRFocus.com. Like articles before it, it has an obligatory stock photo of somebody wearing a contraption. Um, This has got a better view with this one, but I still can't figure out which of the contraptions it is. They all look the same, don't they? All it's just a thing on your head, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, something called Varwin brings an open beta for virtual reality management system. Now, um, I can see uses for this, but one of the big problems, even as a user, one finds with virtual worlds is I'm broadcasting, for example, from my own self-hosted, grid, um, you know, um, which is uses an open simulator server and open simulator software to do the building and everything else. It has commonalities with the old Second Life world, which is a corporate garden, walled garden. But even though it has similarities, they're not interoperable. You can't jump from one to the other. And you certainly can't jump from here to somewhere like High Fidelity, Science Space, or anything else. And it's not just the fact that the platforms aren't interoperable,
Hmm.
interoperable for jumping between them, but many of them use totally different standards for building and stuff. Science Space, for example, is principally tied to work done in Unity and is all mesh based as a rule. High fidelity is very similar, except that it has its own sort of authoring side, even though you can import from Unity and various other things. Second Life's new platform, Sansar, is another one which is a complete mesh. In I shouldn't have said that, should I? But anyway, no, I said mesh. So there you go.
Right, right. I
You
heard
know,
it.
it's altered the separate way. Um, so we look at the assets used for these kind of things, and a content management system is logically a library where I keep all my assets, for building content. But it's not very practical at the moment because of the platforms being so different. Sure, I can put in assets from Sketchfab or something online. I can convert them to a format that's right for Unity or Unreal or OpenSim or any of the others, and I can keep them in a folder and stuff, and then I can upload or convert the appropriate one to upload into a particular platform. And so procedurally, you can get yourself a bit organized, but there is no common asset. I've got rocking chair FBX, and I've got rocking chair DAE, and I've got rocking chair, a whole load of different formats for different worlds, different platforms. And I find it very hard to see how your standard content management system like this, if you can see it, um, or like shown in that picture, I find it very hard to kind of visualize just how something that will like that will work, as an asset library when you're actually dealing with so many different platforms. And the idea of this is an enterprise software, but it doesn't mention whether it's called VAR-Win. Um, the world changes when information can be managed by its own and not by a programmer. Where are we? The theory, anyway, VR production is expensive, time consuming, and inflexible. The same was the case with websites years ago until CMS showed up. Well, it's very easy to see how content management systems will work on the web because everything is anchored on HTML and the assets are all organized, depending on what file type they are and stuff like that, and loaded into a singular sort of canvas. No such thing in virtual reality, so I don't really quite know what they're hoping to do there. I think they want to streamline the workflow between studios and clients um, using a drag and drop interface based on Google's Blockly visual language, presenting coding concepts as interlocking blocks.
Hmm.
Well, I understand it all, quite frankly. I understand that some of you might not, but I do actually understand the principle of this. I just don't see how it's going to work, unless it is a totally and unless these assets are virtual in their own right. In other words, Varwin will provide an RMS, which I presume is remote management system, that between, say, a design studio and their client. And if that design studio is working on a site at Sciencebase for the client, then having a content management system which has all their assets in it is possibly viable given that all the assets are Unity assets destined for Sciencebase.
Hmm.
There's no need to be flexible. But the moment that the client says to the design studio, oh, right, can you do a version of this for OpenSim too? They're scuppered. The content management system will have no relevance at all. They'll have to start a new one using OpenSim assets. So it's new, but is it, it's the same thing that's wrong with virtual worlds. We don't have the ubiquitous back end platform like we do on the web. Things that were able to be built on the web because it was just HTML and everything's built on top of it. There's no ground level with virtual worlds, sadly. So without a ground, you can't build up on the same building blocks,
Hmm.
if you see what I mean.
Yep.
Anyway, before I confuse myself, let alone you, let's move on. Voices of VR podcast again. Several more this week. Actually, none of them were particularly captivating this week. This is the only one I tagged, mostly because it's actually an interview with a charming lady called Jessica Outlaw. Um, the theme is elements of culture and cultivating community, and she's quite big on communities and things. Hence the connection with VR. Jessica Outlaw is a culture and behavioral researcher who released a qualitative study of the experiences of 13 different women in social VR. That was back in 2017. April last year, she released a survey of 600 users in social VR, getting some robust data on how harassment people have experienced in the early days of social VR. And there's been a previous Voices of VR interview with her on the day she released her survey results, um, during which she mentioned a book called Elements of Culture, sorry, which is written by Andrew Brown in 1995 on organized culture. She expanded on elements of that in a presentation she gave at XR for Change in New York City on June 17th this year. And they've now sat down after that talk to expand on elements of that. And I'm sure you'll find that it covers virtual reality in the abstract a bit, but is very much a topic in its own right. But many of you probably know of, or if not know her, Jessica Outlaw herself. So um, she's in almost all virtual worlds there are. So right, moving on. Virtualrealitytimes.com. This is three full words: virtual reality times, but they're squashed together. So we got a three-in-one squash job. Virtualrealitytimes.com. If you look there and see under the VR Times logo, you can see the actual address there. So, in case you didn't get what I said. Right. This is actually the last one of the main feed this week. This certainly came in, yeah, July 6th. This would have been yesterday. It's really a statement of fact, and I think that's also less, like many things that are called facts these days, it may actually be a matter of opinion. 2019 has been an impressive year for virtual reality headset sales. Well, this comes after we've spent most of the year reading pessimistic forecasts saying that the sales of virtual reality headsets are dropping. I mean, of course, we do have new ones. We had the Oculus Go, which wasn't this year, but then we had the Oculus new thingy. James, help me out here.
The Quest.
Oculus.
That's the
The
Quest,
Quest, that's
right?
it. We have the Oculus Quest now. We have variations of HTC things and whatever. So, obviously, where there is a market, we've had new products coming along. And so, it's not easy to say whether it's been an impressive year or not, but they're simply going by sales figures. So, as you can see, they've got an Oculus photograph. How
Yep.
nice of them. Wonder how much Facebook paid them for product placement on that one. Um, this
Hmm.
is actually based on an IGC report. It has nothing to do specifically with Oculus, by the way. Um, Market is still largely driven by sales of VR headsets as opposed to AR specific ones. And sales accounted for 96.6 of shipments in the first quarter of 2019. As the standalone AR devices become available and businesses continue to embrace enterprise solutions, AR devices will presumably increasingly account for a bigger share as time goes by. Anyway, there's your facts and figures and stuff, and maybe just maybe Maria Koloff will pop along here for some comment because guess what? Yeah, it's got a chart in it. There you are.
Very nice.
Just like a hypergrid business post, eh?
Yep.
It's got a chart. There is the headset forecast, as it were. Augmented reality, virtual reality, still way ahead, obviously, and the brighter one at the bottom there is commercial, and then of course the big toppings there are for consumer products. So anyway, let's put that one away, and we'll just quickly flip up here. We're on YouTube. Um, this is actually just one of the many that I like on YouTube all the week. They end up in the Malbones writer feed, by the way, at Twitter. This one actually is in the Metaworld news feed simply because it is open sim. And I'm not going to play all of it, but actually, I must say, come to think of it, it's actually about the. God, where's the knob gone? All right, sorry, hunting for the knob. This is actually a post from Sakrarian Grid, and I must say I like this little intro.
Little Tai Chi there.
Yeah, and there you are. That's the sort of video logo, and yes, you get the idea. You're going to get 6 minutes of that, but it is a grid on OpenSim, so it gets a
Okay.
little bit of extra PR, gives you a nice sort of visual taster for that grid, and of course it's all this boppy sort of almost Caribbean sort of music. It's if you're in the northern hemisphere, then it's the right move for the season, isn't it?
Yep.
Sandy beaches, um, waves, sun, bathing thingies. In fact, the only thing missing is the snow, which is
Snow.
increasingly becoming a yeah, that's a
Okay.
new summer phenomenon, isn't it?
Ah, yeah.
Well, it probably well, it's sunshine and beaches one day, snow the next kind of thing. Called climate change, I believe. Right. Um, enough of that. And the Sansar. This is no, it's not. This Sansar is the name of another virtual world, which is run by Linden Lab. It's a walled garden. It's Linden Lab, of course, better known for Second Life, their big walled garden. They've partnered. They're Sansar partnering with every which way with a whole load of people, and they never seem to I don't even know where they can scale for half these things, let alone get the audiences. But they've partnered with Monster Cat on live virtuality music and entertainment series. Now, July 1st is when they gave us this news, so it was way back last week, really.
Hmm.
Well, just Monday, I think that was. Um, Basically, they're very into influential music label, and they're throwing a massive dance party in VR, and you're invited. Founded in 2011, they're a Canadian recording company, Monster Cat this is, and they've for 8 years they're developing a massive catalogue of genre-defying music, I guess. So lots of different genres, and using previously established media distribution for platforms, YouTube, Twitcher, Twitcher and Mixer. Sorry, let me get that right.
That works.
Twitch and Mixer. Reading too fast here. The award-winning service lets both fans and artists bypass the limitations of conventional music labels to discover and share new music. I actually thought that was Spotify, but never mind. Considering the company's history partnering with video game developers, in 2017 they teamed up with Psyonix to release an 18-song album for a game called Rocket League. Yeah, oh God, it goes on. Could do with a few commas in this sentences. It comes as no surprise the organisation would eventually make its way to VR.
Hmm.
Earlier this morning, Linden Labs developer behind the popular VR desktop social platform Sansar announced that they created a team up. Um, it will feature live concerts, exclusive fan quests, VR meet and greets, and a whole bunch of giveaways. Um, Yes, just like Fidelity, have giveaways and people will come. Stop the giveaways and
Yeah.
everybody goes. Right, July the 12th is the date for their anniversary, and the live VR event has performances from over a dozen Monster Cat artists, and turning a lobby in Sansol called Call of the Wild into a no holds barred virtual rave, etc., etc. Pretty little picture there. Some quotes from Monster Cat. More pretty little pictures. That does look like it might be and looks more like high fidelity than who knows? They must have been in there testing it anyway.
Hmm.
You can get both free and premium tickets. And to purchase them, you actually just click on the link, and I'm going to click on the link to help you out. This takes us to atlas.sansar.com, experiences slash monstercat slash Call of the Wild. So Call of the Wild is the location you want, as it were. And you just click on it to visit, to launch Sansar and visit. Um, it doesn't. I thought I was doing you a favour there, but actually there's absolutely no indication of where you get tickets at all on that on that link. So go figure. Anyway, yeah, there you are. This is a quick video. I'm going to press on it, but oh, it's only 30 minutes, 30 seconds. Well, there you go. That's
Yep.
30 seconds of all an organic light show. In the same platform of music concerts in Sansar. I must say, that looked quite impressive, but actually, I swear there were more lights than there were avatars.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's,
it certainly had the motion game, didn't it?
I was going to ask the same
Uh,
question. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that looked good, and yeah, that's actually that. I have finished all our bits and pieces for the week.
Oh my.
I
Okay.
don't know how long we've been on air, but it was a short resume, as it were.
No, 37.
It
Yep.
looks like we've been on a while. Yeah. So, James, any thoughts on any of that stuff? I think we had a bit of variety in there, even though there weren't many news items. You know, we got
Yeah.
medical stuff and defense stuff, and
Yeah, I think the only thing that stuck out to me was the when you talked about the massage with VR, and there was
yeah.
a I mean an interesting story, but I've downloaded a Tai Chi app for the Oculus Quest, and
All right.
I've actually been surprised at how well, number one, how exhausting Tai Chi is. It actually is. It's more of a workout than I thought, and then
Yeah.
it's really immersive. It's a very immersive experience having the visual direction and guide for the physical activity. So I
Yeah.
think we'll see more of these types of things.
I mean, I had back in the day, God knows when. I mean, since the mid '80s, I had a little collection of meditation audio cassettes actually,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
which you used to lie on a mat and close your eyes, and it sort of took you through a bit breathing exercise, but increasingly nice music. And you know, you're meant to focus a little bit, and thereafter just drift away with the thing. You know, that was pure relaxation. It wasn't actually hard work at all.
Mm.
Um, uh, the hard work was staying still on the mat, actually. That's the hardest work there was. Um, but then, you know, it was very big in a similar time period, really, with videotapes and, first there were a few fitness tapes, then every actress on the planet decided that they were going to do a keep fit tape of their own,
Sure. Yep.
and most of which were just read from a book, or it's basically an excuse to pose and show off their body. Um, but they were very popular because people literally stood in a room in front of a TV screen, which in those days was difficult to, small TVs,
Yeah. Yeah.
cathode ray tubes, and they will be copying the person, mirroring the moves of whoever was hosting the thing. And yeah, I think that principle is very good. I mean, I love the idea of the exercise bikes you can get indoors that you can, instead of just putting an iPad on them and pedal through a nice landscape, you can actually put a headset on and do that in immersive VR, and
Mm.
you don't have
Mhm.
to worry about falling over or bumping into walls because you're actually safely perched on your bicycle seat, you know. And I see that as a, it's a wonderful way to exercise, but hopefully you wouldn't even notice you're exercising because it would be so much fun.
Mhm.
If you see what I mean.
Yep.
So I can see that being very successful. But the disappointing thing with that massage thing, I think, is that most of the massage experience is to do with the real person's hands doing whatever they're doing to you.
Mhm.
And to have a virtual reality headset on that gives you music and vision and maybe for some nice sense as an accompaniment to that is all well and good, very good, but it is not really a total immersive experience. Well, sorry, it is, but not a virtual reality one. In other words, virtual reality is only being used to add a couple of sensory inputs while you're having something done that is actually, quite normal and doesn't
Mm.
actually need
Mhm.
it. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't turn down a massage in a place like that and put a headset on. Again, I'd be lying on my stomach, presumably, or whatever, and I wouldn't be likely to bump into any walls. I'd just be enjoying somebody massaging my back or whatever.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't turn it down, but it it actually doesn't even seem quite as immersive as the idea of the bicycle, the exercise bike.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know, I don't know. And of course, unlike the bike, this is an out of home experience. You're going to have to go to a
That's
massage
right.
parlor somewhere that offers this as an experience. And I think we'll see a lot of this, as the commercial use of VR takes off. At the
Mhm.
moment,
Yep.
you get it used in laboratories so scientists and doctors can see greater detail than they can in real life by using virtual simulations and stuff that is, you know, um, linked to the real thing. Like,
Yep.
my
Yep.
real body in the operating room is linked to the virtual replica, but they can use the virtual to see better which bits of me they're cutting up,
Mhm.
which is probably a welcome addition to the procedure.
Right. Right.
Not as I want to be cut up at all, but there's probably will I be in a year's time reading will I be reading out an article which is headline news, um, doctor blogs because it becomes the first doctor's surgery to put VR in his waiting room, you know, because doctor's surgeries, they keep you waiting. So they sometimes they play music, but they've always got racks and magazines for you to read to try and hide the fact they're keeping you waiting. They now have, LCD screens on their walls running medical adverts and sometimes other stuff to keep you occupied, while you're waiting.
Mhm.
And ultimately, when you go into a waiting room and you'll find 12 headsets on a coat hanger type things. You just sit down and say, put one on, and you'll get VR entertainment. And then when the doctor's ready to see you, it will be interrupted, with a screen saying, "The doctor will see you now. You are number 81 in the queue, or
Right.
you're number eight." I was on a phone call the other day to a medical sort of thing. Well, it's a couple of weeks ago now, and sort of I was on the phone and they said, "Sorry, we're a bit busy right now. Please wait." And the pipe music played for about 3 minutes, and then the voice came on. "Sorry, we're quite busy now. Please wait. You are currently number 83 in the queue." I'm not joking. That was the number. And an hour later, I rang using Skype, so I wasn't holding a head, I wasn't holding anything. I just let it keep going.
Mhm.
I'd been on about an hour and we still hadn't got to under 70 in the queue, which
Mhm.
was just absurd. It was Britain's National Health Service, of course, some department there, so not surprising in the main ways. But it's really just absurd. So imagine you went to a real life doctor's and it wasn't an appointment. You needed to be seen urgently, and they tell you to take a seat. And then you go to virtuality to kill the pain and everything else, and every couple of minutes this thing comes up on your headset saying you are now number 81 in the queue.
Yep.
Happy travels, and then count you down. I don't know, but I can actually see a use for it. I still wouldn't want to wait 81 people in the queue. I was still drive me out the wall whether I was in virtuality to occupy my time or whether I just had the speaker thing on the computer telling
Mhm.
me the countdown. But I can actually see that something like that would become a new norm. I mean, everywhere, every waiting room I sit in now, for even the most boring, mundane ones that are like utilitarian or whatever, they've all got big screens nowadays. If they're not advertising something to do with their own practice, they're just showing 24-hour news. And it all keeps you happily sedated while you ignore the stress of waiting for whatever you're waiting for.
Oh yeah.
So it's only a matter of time before it's going to need the general public to realise what VR is and feel comfortable in those headsets. But I think it's only a matter of time before that. I think that sort of thing will come our way before people bother having them at home.
Hmm.
Because when people are in their own homes, they've got plenty of things to do. But in a waiting room where you might have to wait for a long while, um, it's a good way to immerse people and take their minds off whatever they're waiting for. And of course, it'd be a great advertising medium too. If you're
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
doctor's waiting room, you can see some nice, pleasant relaxation videos in your headset, interspersed with advertisements for the latest hot pill for you to buy. You know, no, 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 you don't want the red pill anymore because blah, blah, blah. Com has invented the blue pill.
Hmm.
The blue pill will work even better with this immersive reality. Sorry, the record's bowed down.
Okay. Right.
I
Right.
know the
I
rabbit
heard
hole
that.
has collapsed on me,
All right.
but you get the idea. You get the idea. So the massage parlor thing is no real surprise. You know, I actually suspect that stuff's been going on quite a while. It hasn't got the news because I suspect the type of massage parlor where it would have been used would not have been quite as newsworthy, if you
Good for
see
the
what I mean.
popular
It's like
press. Right.
it's like you go out for the night on a blind date. Now, do you ring up an escort agency? And is what you get basically a hooker
Hmm.
with a lead up, or is it do you get a respect to work sport? So it's always been the same with massage. You go down the street in Soho, the massage is one part of your body only, really.
Yep.
Whereas you go to the same sort of thing in somewhere like Mayfair, and it'd be very, you know, um, you know, environmentally friendly, a nice, comfortable place, and full body massage and done by really qualified masseurs, and you know, but they both use the same name to describe what they are. So um, yeah, there we are.
There we are.
TikTok,
Yep.
TikTok. There we are. You're shutting up. You're shutting up at last. Okay, folks. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will be back here, same time, same place next week with whatever news there is to bring you. And if there is no news to bring you, we might just pop up anyway, just to tell you that, because we don't want to miss a show, do we?
Uh,
Anyway, until then, it's goodbye from him.
and it's goodbye from him over there.
Yeah. In other words, the two of us. We too are one, saying goodbye and good luck and have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.